All right, we are back. Tangy Talks, episode 20. One away from the goal of 21, man. We're chugging along.
Chugging along, 20. That's a feat right there.
Yeah, just getting to 20, man. Like 20 of these. It's really good. That means we've got 10 hours of knowledge we've been sharing with people on the interwebs.
That's incredible. And we were just chatting that we're starting to get some views. We're starting to get some likes.
Yeah,
I
man.
loved hearing that. That's exciting to hear that. We're bringing some value to the listener. So that was
Yeah,
really
I love it.
awesome.
I love it. We've got a lot of views on YouTube. So right now you can watch our YouTube shorts. You can watch the whole episode. If you're listening to this in your car right now, you can come see our faces and our expressions. We may even do some lives coming up again soon. So you can ask your questions live. But yeah, make sure to head on over to YouTube and subscribe if you haven't. We got a lot of fun stuff that we share on YouTube shorts after every single episode. And we might be starting a TikTok one as well today. So I think that might actually perform pretty well.
There you go. We're getting younger, right? We're getting
Yeah.
younger. Steve. I don't
I
have
don't
a
know about
TikTok.
you haven't been on. I've been on TikTok for 4 years when I was Musically. You got to catch up, dude. And you're
I
10
gotta
years
catch
older
up,
than me.
man. I gotta catch up. I'm still on the MySpace days.
Yeah, this guy's got his Facebook profile from 17 years ago. But we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about today. We have a lot going on in our world. But I do want to first welcome our newest hire. We just hired someone. Why don't you do the intro, Victor, since you did 25 or 30 interviews and we selected our new operations manager. Tell us about, why don't we talk about that process? What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, you've been a part of it. I mean, you've hired and been a part of hiring managers and upper level management teams, and it's not easy, right? It's a lot of conversation. It's a lot of questions and understanding and where they are right now personally in their lives and their experience and obviously where they want to go. So the cool thing is now we have set questions built out from our core values that we basically build them out and ensure that that's somebody who we're bringing onto the team, mesh with our values, our team, and we want to what we want to do, what our future is. So 25 candidates. We came down to Santiago Nieto. Shout out Santiago if you're listening to us, which we're super happy and excited about. He completed his first week of our onboarding, getting to know our properties, getting to know our team. I always love that time just because it's so fresh, right? And it's kind of like whoever comes in, you have the new opportunity, the new possibility of kind of molding and training and ensuring, the expectations of what you want it to be and what you want the company to run like. So I think that's super fun. What do you think?
I loved it. I think we went through, we had very specific things we look for. We're looking for
Right.
hotel luxury background, which is always
Mhm.
challenging.
Right.
And we found someone that has 20 plus years of luxury hotel background. And we're lucky enough that they want to join our company that we're trying to grow. And it's very different coming from a luxury hotel, coming into a company that's a small business, but knowing that you can have a big impact. Right. So I know it's
Exactly.
definitely an adjustment. If you're listening, Santiago, we know we all adjusted, but we're excited to have you on board. But this wasn't one of our topics, but I think it's really key as you're growing your company. If this is what you want to do professionally, make sure you're aligning with the right people for the right seat and understand that those people can fit those jobs, because we've had some great people come through, but maybe they just weren't the right person or it wasn't the right seat. Maybe it just wasn't the right time for some
Right.
of them.
Right. Yeah. We interviewed. I mean, we sat down with so many people and we interviewed so many great people with experience in short term and hospitality background. Funny story yesterday, Santiago we're putting together our introduction to our owners for Santiago, and we wanted him to kind of list out the hotels, and he was listing out at every hotel, and I kind of forgot. I'm like, wow, like you are Fontainebleau, no, I'm like, you could just name them. So
Turnberry, yeah, a ton of them. Lowe's, yeah.
it's incredible. So I was like, what a great addition. Our owners, are gonna feel like, wow, okay, we got that hospitality blood in Tangy Management and our management. So I'm excited, and I think we have a lot of exciting things. And I don't think there's really a ceiling for Santiago and for what our company could do. So I'm excited.
I love it. I love it. So we've got some other fun things going on, but we had an interesting week since we were last on the podcast. And I think the first topic we want to talk about here is navigating condo hotels for short-term rental and your vacation rental needs. And so maybe I'll set this up and then we can talk about it. Right.
Right.
So we had a client we've been working with for, what'd you say, 6 months, most likely.
For some time, yeah, six,
Yeah,
seven
for
months.
six. Yeah. So we'll set this up. So client that has been working with us for 6 months and wanted to buy, we won't name the building. uh, but wanted to buy in a condo hotel in downtown Miami. And there's like 8,600 new units. We've talked about this a lot that are all Airbnb friendly, short term rental friendly. This
Right.
one happens to be in a condo hotel when the hotel, of course, wants to have as many units in their hotel program. The building happens to be developed by the people who also own this hotel. So if you do enough research, you'll find
I was
that.
gonna say, I'm like, I think we could piece the puzzles here.
But we're not going to say anything. There's a couple of them out there like that.
Right.
This client of ours, who's very nice, out from another country in South America, investing their money into this building because they had a dream of creating their own short-term rental, vacation rental company, potentially invest in others. They hired us to lead them. And Victor, you asked them, you told them, make sure to ask what are the rules that we're able to do at this place? Are we allowed to outside manage? What are going to be some of the challenges? Because we've
Exactly.
learned hotels create challenges, right?
Exactly.
Because they want people in their hotel pool. They don't want to compete against other property managers,
Of course, makes total sense.
right? They were told, no, everything's great by the developer, by the sales team of the developer, and the realtor, all saying the same thing. We got to go to the closing with our client. Very exciting. Got to tour the property. Got to see that for the first time because brand new. It just developed. So they're seeing it in real life for the first time, not a rendering. A lot of excitement. All
Right.
right. We sign off, head downstairs to do orientation for the building and to learn how we could all work together. And as soon as we get in there, I can still feel the vibe in that room. The
Oh,
property manager, which only runs the public areas, so the pool deck, gym, hallways, not the rental program, had to deliver the tough news that currently only the hotel has the lodging license to allow for people to stay in the building as guests. All the other people that have a dream of renting out on Airbnb and VRBO and all the other platforms, there's no license right now. And they don't know when a license will come. And
right.
also, the property managers have to put a $10,000 deposit down to
Hmm.
walk around the building. But even if we did put 10,000, which we were willing to do, they don't know when we're allowed to actually rent. And so our client, out of frustration, started to tear up because all their dreams started crumbling within 30 seconds. And we advised them to join the hotel pool right away to start earning money. Let us know if they want us to fight with them legally, but get in first, make as much noise as you can. But I think that is a good story to warn everybody. What was your take, Victor, after I've set that up for everybody?
Yeah, it was a great setup, Steve, and I mean that was to the point and straight to it, and it happened last Friday, and that was yeah. I mean, if there was a fly, if you were a fly in the room, you could have seen everybody's just faces completely changed, right? It was not the same exciting as we were going through the building and looking at the brand new unit and going through on kind of envisioning ourselves managing the property and our guest experience. What a great time! The owner was excited, we were excited. I was holding the manual or the handbook for the building in my hands that the owner gave to me. So as you can imagine, all that build up to then get this news, which again, at no fault, I feel bad for the management company because they're delivering this message, right? And they're on the forefront. And I'm sure we're not the only ones that they're delivering that message. So I felt bad for them. I felt bad for the owner, the realtor, that we were all kind of just sideswiped with this news. So it's tough. We've learned, and that's why we asked that first question. I mean, we get leads for condos all the time, and my first question before we get into it is, what are the requirements for the building? Because we've seen it time and time again, like you mentioned. These hotel condos, smartly enough, make it challenging for management
Yeah.
companies, outside management companies, to come in. So, I think we've used the term before. It's a little gangster. It's a
I would
gangster
do it. Look,
move.
if we were the hotel, that's what
Right.
we told our clients. If I was a hotel, I'm going to do the same thing, right? I
Exactly.
don't want you renting outside of my hotel pool. So I'm going to make
Exactly.
it as difficult as possible.
Exactly. But I think our point here and what we're trying to prove is, make it straightforward, make it visible, and put it on the forefront. So the owners who are doing their due diligence, because on the owner side, they did a lot of work. They interviewed several management companies. They did all of this work ahead of time to just be kind of given this news. So kind of goes to show, just make sure you're asking all the questions. If you're an investor coming outside, and we talk about it time and time again, especially coming into these buildings, you want to make sure you're asking the right questions. You want to make sure that you're getting led by the right team and assisted. And even when you do all of that, even when you have a great realtor, even when you have a great management companies and all these people around you helping you, you get crushed with some news like that. So just comes to show you, right, what we're facing with daily and why we keep kind of talking about it in this podcast, right?
Yeah. So let's set this up because I'm sure this will be a clip that we put out there. What are maybe like three questions that someone investing in a condo, hotel, or short term rental building should ask?
I love it. Yeah. So first one, definitely, how the management and the rental program works. What is offered by the actual management company of the hotel, and then what can an outside management company offer as well. What are those the differentiators for this specific situation? The owner decided to go with us, an outside management company, because we get the value is in providing a little bit more of a personalized touch. So I would start with there. Secondly, I would 100% right away ask what are the requirements for outside management companies. you know they may say that there might not be any at the moment, or they're working through the kinks, but don't make a decision until you have that information, especially if you're thinking of going outside with an outside management company. And then the third one, I'm thinking, operatively, what specifically what your guests are going to have to be doing, as far as like what the check-in experience is going to be like when you have an outside management company hiring. Is it going to be through the same front desk? Do the management company have to provide any sort of documentation? Are the guests going to be required to provide any certain documentation? Because you want that process to be seamless, right? So if it's a
Hmm.
challenge for the guest, that can hinder the experience, and you don't want that. So I think those are my top three. I don't know if I'm missing any, or you could think of.
No, I think it's good. I think the next one just to ask is who has the lodging license, right? And how are we
Correct.
able to get it? Because that was something new for us, right? It's a brand new development, brand
Hmm.
new opening. People are closing on their places and had the dream of doing it and cannot.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for the realtor too, right? Because our realtor, that we were friendly with, didn't know because she's just making sure she tells their clients what she's being told by the developer and the sales team.
Exactly.
And so for me, man, I feel bad for that owner. And I know for sure they're going to be looking who the developer is on the next buildings because they won't be investing in there and they have money to
Agreed.
invest. So,
Agreed. And I have to note, Steve, I mean, you handled that graciously. I was still kind of picking up my jaw as we were getting those news, and you were basically there as like a warm blanket, I have to say, to make the owner feel right and feel okay about the whole situation, letting her know, hey, we're still here. We're not going anywhere. You know, you just bought the property. Go with the management company. Don't let it sit there, because I said it could be up to a year. Generate your income, generate your revenue. A year comes in, the license comes in. Give us a call back. We're going to be available. And it, left the owner with a great taste in her mouth. We got beautiful messages from both the realtors and the owner, giving their take, and letting us know, how well it was taken, and how well the message was sent to us from us to them. So I think that was something to note. And on your part, Steve,
yeah, I
pat on the
appreciate
back.
it, man. I think when I saw the tears started coming out of her eyes was when I was like, listen, it's okay. You'll be all right. Go make your money and you'll figure out. And if worst case, you sell it. You've made your money and you buy something else that we can manage for you.
Yeah, I
Right.
think your hotel training kicked in there, and you saw the
I had the
faces.
empathy. I had the empathy.
There you
Uh,
go.
what is it that we always say? Listen, empathize, and act.
There you
There's a
go.
bunch of different ones like that.
A bunch,
But
but I it.
now we've got some other stuff coming in,
Yeah.
right? Last show we talked about losing a property. This
Mhm.
time we're talking about adding properties. We've got some
Mhm.
properties that we're adding, and we're seeing a couple things here where we have property owners come in and to empty homes and they got to furnish their properties.
Yeah.
And I think that it has been a challenge for many companies that are doing this. I'm excited because I have a phone call with a designer later today that I think actually will help us in creating something I've dreamed about happening, which is creating some packages that owners can pick from. Like, here it is, and be able to finance those things as well, right? Because it's expensive to furnish a home and people don't realize it. So, let's tell you like this. What are, starting from scratch, when you walk in and you're meeting an owner that's an empty house, what are some things you advise?
Yeah, and Steve, on your point, in a perfect world, right? We have that furniture sitting in a storage, waiting for that owner to come in and be ready for us. But that's not always the case, right? You got to think about the storage. Purchasing it,
It's a lot
storing
of
it.
stuff.
It's a lot of stuff. It takes a bit. And again, we're doing our business model based on a percentage. Not necessarily that we're taking over on a different model. I'm forgetting the name over here on the of the model, where you rent the property itself.
Oh yeah,
Arbitrage.
arbitrage. Yeah, we're not
Arbitrage.
taking it over ourselves and furnishing it ourselves. No, we're
One blank
helping
there.
individual owners.
Exactly, exactly. So, it's difficult, and I think, when we talk about this, we and how we see it in our brain and how we envision it is, like you mentioned, having already set packages. These packages have a dollar value to it, from lux all the way down to entry level, so it can work with all different types of budget, because we want to come in and express to the owner that we understand it's a big investment.
Mhm.
This is a big investment, and when you want to put your furniture in, we always talk about is, we don't want IKEA furniture. We want, because you're going to get IKEA prices. So we want to level it up. We want to stand out from other competitors. So that's a big investment to the owner. So they have to weigh, their pros and cons. So we want to guide them. We want to help them. But, we don't want to get to the point that the owner says, because of the money, I'm going to go ahead and do it ourselves. And we've seen it time and time again that it's a difficult process, right? And it gets frustrating from an owner standpoint. And we want to help and we want to get involved as much as we can. But obviously, the dollar, especially at the entry when you're just starting out, that's a big investment, right?
Yeah, and I don't think people realize what it is. It's not just furniture. Right, all right, you have the furniture, but hey, you also have a kitchen you gotta make sure it has enough equipment to cook in, and a
Mhm.
blender, and a toaster, and a coffee maker, and enough wine glasses, and coffee mugs, and bowls, and you go on and on and on. Oh, you have a pool? Well, you need pool towels, you need pool
Mhm.
chairs, you need an outdoor a table. You need
Mhm.
some amenities to go in there. Not the amenities that we provide, like shampoo and soap and coffee. Like we provide some nice things. Is there any games in the backyard? Is there board games you want to add? These are all things that are part of that startup cost that a lot of people don't realize they need.
Exactly.
You know, I've dabbled in the past. You remember we tried with the Amenity Company, right?
Yep.
But that was just like an overlay on Amazon.
Mhm.
But I think now this is my big project for this quarter. I'm going to add it as a rock because I think it will be helpful. And when I say a rock, we use the EOS Entrepreneurial Operating System to work our team. So we have rocks for every quarter. Is finally have a package that we can give to our guests. And it'll just make life way easier because we're seeing it now with someone that's a great owner that we're excited to work with, but has a hard time. Like, is this going to be right? Is that going to be right? Is this going to be right? Or is this going to be right? Or is this
Exactly.
wrong? I don't want to make a wrong decision. So I
Of
think
course.
we'll have some packages very soon because I haven't seen anyone do it right. There's a lot of companies out there
Right.
that are trying to do it, but they're not easy. Like I just signed up for one that I told you about. I'm not going to mention their name, but it was hard. It was not easy to use. Like you still had to go to other people's websites. I still had to go to like a Crate and Barrel and a
Mhm.
Pottery Barn and these
Yeah.
other places
Yeah.
and order from there and put in a code and get a discount. It wasn't packaged easily, right?
Exactly.
So
Exactly. Yeah,
we're
it's
gonna find a solution. I'm on it, and so I
I know
think
you
a couple calls will make it. This has been something I've been talking about for a long time because back in the old days, I used this as Holiday because I didn't know this. So back, I think it was in Memphis. So Holiday in 1960s you wanted to build a Holiday Inn, they figured you'd come to our factory, our warehouse. We're going to walk you through three different rooms. You choose
mm,
what you want the room to look like. Do you want
mm,
this style, or this style? Great. You got this style. Now we're going to go into the bed and linens. Which ones do you want? You have three options. Great. Which TV do you want? Boom. So when you got out of that warehouse, you already had what your hotel room was going to look like, what the public area was going to look like, what the front desk was going to look like, because you only had three options. And that's
right.
how they standardized the Holiday Inn back in the 60s because back in the day it was just mom and pop
Right.
motels everywhere. So this was why it was such like a revolutionary thing, which then made it annoying in the 80s and 90s because everything looked the same. That's when all like the cool hotels started popping back up.
That's what I wanted to bring up too. Make
Yeah.
sure it's things don't
Yeah,
all
'cause
look
that's why people go to IKEA, right? Because
right.
everything's in one place. But we
Exactly.
want to do it to where you still have some commercial grade stuff, things that are going to last. And like I said, IKEA is good. They've got some nice things, but it's not for every single piece in the house, right?
Exactly.
We don't want that.
Yeah.
So anyhow, we're looking at it. So what are some things maybe we can do to make it easier? How can we make it easier for people? We got packages. Until we get packages, what do we tell them to look for?
Right. So, like you mentioned, we have a built out checklist of items that, the house requires. And as you can imagine, this checklist is extensive. So we help the owners and guide them as much as possible. But like I had mentioned before, we want to stand out. We want to create an environment for the guests that they feel comfortable, but at the same time, we know things are durable and the wear and tear is not going to be as much because, these are, like you mentioned, hotel grade furniture. So, it's also something to think about is the ease of being able to replace this furniture, right? So if things gets broken, how easy can it be for you to go back and order the same thing? So that's another little step to think about. But there's also that decorative piece, right? The part where you have to actually put artwork, the decoration, the knickknacks. And I think to your point, that's where you were going as far as like where IKEA would be, something that could help with that, or Hobby Lobby or things of that nature. But again, that's more work. If you could go into a place that's one stop shop and you could just pick out your style, they have several options and just go from that list. I think it'll be great. And if some other companies are out there, furniture companies are listening, maybe this could be something that you brainstorm with the team, because there is basically a big gap, right? Like
A
an
need.
open,
There's a
right?
need for it.
Very needed. So specifically for the short term rental. And again, it's always one of our first challenges when we sign up a new property, and it's the furniture. And we've done it time and time again. And it's not an easy process, but we would love to streamline that process, for the sake of the owner, for the sake of our management company, and also the furniture company.
Yeah, because I can hear people saying it who are listening. Well, there's companies that do it for hotels. Yes, they
Exactly.
do, but they take 12 to 16 weeks to get the furniture in, and a lot of times we get a home that hasn't planned ahead, and they come to us and they want to be listed right away. We don't have 3 months to 4 months to
Good
get
point.
furniture in, right?
Great
So we
point.
have looked at that option, but it takes a lot longer, right? We were going to do it for a couple places, and most of those furniture pieces are custom built for rooms. So when you do a hotel furniture package, they come out, they measure, they customize the furniture for that room because it's going to be in there for 8 to 10 years a lot of times at commercial grade. So I
That's
hear
a great
you.
point.
I already heard people saying companies do that. I know, but we got to find this in between where we can get it in 14 days, 20 days, because where there is no time to wait. Time is money with the owners of these
Agreed.
properties.
Agreed. Yeah. I mean, in another perfect world, the owner is building the property. It's not, done yet, and that process is getting done before even the property is basically up and running. So in a hotel, they shut down the entire
Mhm.
property to get this project done. They do it in phases, or while they're renovating, they're already doing that ahead of time. So they coordinate, the opening of the hotel perfectly while it's furnished and ready to go. We don't have that luxury sometimes in these homes that are basically ready to go. It just needs to get furnished, and owners can't wait 2, 3, 4 months because mortgage doesn't stop. So
Mhm.
that's something definitely to think about.
It is true, and we're doing a hotel right now in Miami Beach, and they are going to take a year to get everything right, and it is closed
Incredible,
down. So
incredible. You've been
furniture, we're going to figure this out.
you've been a part of a couple of openings, right, Steve?
Yeah.
I did the Trump National Doral when Trump brought over Doral, and it was
Yes.
a process. It was a process.
And it's hard. And I had a huge
Mhm.
team, and I still had to carry things off of trucks because trucks would just show up. You're like, we're here just to deliver. We don't take things off. I remember
Yeah,
that
yeah.
as well.
We had coordinated pretty seamless, I feel. I mean, and still, obviously things don't happen well, but it's we set it up in phases, right? Like the big furniture's first, then the small like knickknacks and things of that nature, and then all the linens. So there's phases, which I felt was very coordinated, but still, just like you said, they would just show up and drop off furniture, and we're like, what
Yes.
the heck is going on?
700 rooms.
Crazy.
But people are
Good
like, oh,
time.
that's only one house. Yeah, but each house has 4 bedrooms, 5 bedrooms, right? So
Hmm.
let's see what happens there. But some exciting news, right? Is we've talked about losing a property. We're talking about gaining properties and the challenge of working sometimes with owners who can't make the decisions. We're venturing into new territory for Tangy here. And we have invested and now purchased our first property in, I'll look at the city. We won't give the exact area, in Charleston, South Carolina area, a legal place to do vacation rentals because we're always looking to do that.
Exactly.
But Victor, why don't we talk about this because this has been your project and your baby? Why don't you give us the highlights of how we're coming to invest and own our own place?
Exactly, exactly. And a big banner should fly right over our head, and it should say "Control our own destiny," right? And that's where our focus and our mindset was when we were looking into all of this, because we had a lot of options, right? We had a lot of options. We knew we wanted to control our own destiny. We knew we wanted to start a project that was our vision, and everything that we talk about in this podcast, we can actually put and set into motion with our, with basically with our lead. So I was really excited. This is something that we here it is.
I got it. Got the banner.
If you're listening, Steve just got it right now. There's it's right there. Controller Destiny.
Mhm.
So I
We
love it.
got it.
But yeah, it took extensive work. Obviously looking for the right place, and when we talk about making sure that we're getting in to a property that has value, we always think about the worst case scenario, and which is a good thing. God forbid the city changes their their codes or their enforcement. Can we put that property as a long term, or can we sell that property for a profit? So that took some time making sure and seeing what the right location. I've been to Charleston many times, and I love it there. It's you go into all of the reports and which one of the best cities to travel, etc. Charleston, we always see it on top of the list. It's still a growing city, so the property value there is still very good. It's not here Miami prices that you're getting a 3 to 5,000 square foot land for almost up to
3,000,000. Yeah.
$3 million. So
Mhm.
very, very different market, very different value there, and I'm excited. It's Can we share some details of the property? Like,
Yeah, we could tell you what it is.
yeah.
I wouldn't give the exact address, but what we
Mhm.
invested in and why.
Yeah, so it's a beautiful 3-2 home on 1.2 acre land. So a lot of area, beautiful backyard. The entrance is like very kind of Americana, meets
Yeah.
family. So very like a lot of the bricks and the entrance with the American flag hanging in the front. You go in, it's an open concept. You got the chimney right there. The kitchen is right next to the living room. So you're preparing dinner, having a good time with your family, and you could just all be together. It has 3 bedrooms on one side, and then it has a little small den that we're thinking of making it into a bedroom so we can have as many people there. And I think the value and where kind of like the marketing focal point is going to be that backyard, right? We're talking about so many things that we can do. It does not have a pool, but it does have room for a pool, or it does have room for a little jacuzzi or above ground pool. It also has room for a little putt putt area. So we're thinking about that experience. And one of the processes in looking at this property, or in making the decision to get to this property, is we looked at the competitors, and we saw, wow, like there's big opportunity here. There's a
Mhm.
lot of competitors here not doing it the right way. So we saw that there's that avenue, and we're taking it. And I'm proud of us because it's been a lot of work. I forgot how much work it takes to purchase a property, but it's all been fun and exciting. It's all part of the process.
Yeah, if this works, we say we continue to stamp this out in different places. And if you're asking, well, how come you're doing it in South Carolina as well? We already manage a couple properties there for
Correct.
other people, and so we
Missed
have
that
some
point.
boots on the ground, right? So we
Mhm.
have housekeeper, we have handyman, we have people we trust in that market,
Great point.
and we like how it performs, and so we're in. We're in. We talked about this. This was part of the quarter plan here, and we're in. So now we got to make it work, which I know we will, and I'm excited. So very soon, we've invested a lot this year. We've got
Oh yeah,
our Tangy van. We've got our new free agent signing in Santiago. We're investing in a property. We got a brand new website coming out. We got a lot of fun stuff going on. Adding new properties, shedding the ones that we don't need anymore, that weren't the right fit. Which I talked about on LinkedIn the other day, like having the right property with the right partners.
so important.
And so I think that it's been a great couple of months. Some challenges for sure, which you're always going to have, but always looking for the positive things, right? It's the hard part of business.
I love it, and listeners who've heard our previous podcast, we'll talk about the not so great and the grimy, but we there are some wins, and that we're excited about. We have a lot of stuff to look forward to, and the team has to look forward to. So we're excited that we get to share this information.
Yep, I love it. So a quick recap of today, man. We flew through this already.
Incredible.
If you're getting into condo hotels, make sure to check for the red flags, ask the
Hmm.
questions. Victor gave you some questions to ask that are really good. When
Exactly.
furnishing a place, make sure to think of everything you need to furnish. And if you're having some questions about it, let us know. We can give you that list for free. You can download it, I think, on our website for free. We have it as a blog we can share.
Hmm. Exactly.
And then third, listen, we're excited. Once this property gets up and running, you can stay with us. We will share the link and more details about that property. So when you go to the Charleston area, you could stay with your Tangy team over here. But if you haven't, as always, if you found any value in this, make sure to share this episode with somebody in the industry, or maybe they are about to invest in a condo hotel, or they want to buy properties, or just have questions about short-term or vacation rentals. Please let us know. And anything you want to add, Victor, before we sign off?
I think you covered it all. Happy Friday, Steve. Another great episode 20. Can't wait to do 30 with you.
Yeah, it's coming up. We'll see you soon.